Political story that we have been following. Just a short while back, we saw Charanjit Singh Channi taking oath as the new Punjab Chief Minister. Two others also who had taken oath along with him, of course, was Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa and also what we saw that there had, in fact, Om Prakash Soni also had taken oath along with him. Let's listen into my colleague Ranjita, who's on ground.
मालवा द्वाबा और एक और तीन रीजन में बांटा जाता है पंजाब की राजनीति में, और जिसमें मालवा का बड़ा हिस्सा माना जाता है जिसके प्रतिनिधि नहीं है। इस तरह की भी खबर निकल कर आ रही है। कांग्रेस कितना संतुष्ट कर पाती है, हर क्षेत्र की अपनी राजनीति है और उसमें कांग्रेस को फिट बैठना होगा। जो सवाल उठ रहे हैं उसमें कांग्रेस को देखना होगा कि किस तरह से ये सभी समीकरण को वो साध पाती है, क्योंकि आरोप तो अब लगने शुरू हो चुके हैं पार्टी पर।
Right, so in fact, Ranjita was also talking about the fact that there's a fresh infighting already that we can see going on in Congress. The fact that Sunil Jakhar had in fact objected to that comment which had been made by Punjab Congress Chief Punjab Congress unit in charge rather, Harish Rawat, who had in fact said that under the present circumstances, it's most likely that Navjot Singh Sidhu will lead the party into the polls next year. Let's continue listening to what Ranjita has to report on.
क्या अब कैप्टन पंजाब की राजनीति से और कांग्रेस की राजनीति से आउट हो जाएंगे? उनका साफ तौर पर ये कहना था कि आउट नहीं होते, और खासकर इस तरह के नेता कभी राजनीति से आउट नहीं होते हैं। वो उम्मीद कर रहे थे कि कैप्टन हमेशा पंजाब में कांग्रेस को दशा और दिशा देंगे, लेकिन सवाल ये उठता है कि कैप्टन के दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है। जैसे ही जो मुख्यमंत्री है उनकी घोषणा हुई कि चन्नी अब अगले मुख्यमंत्री होंगे, ट्वीट के जरिए उन्होंने उनको बधाई भी देती, लेकिन उस बधाई को कटाक्ष के तौर पर भी माना जा रहा है, एक चुनौती के तौर पर भी दे रहे हैं कि पंजाब की जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है उसको संभाल कर रखे चन्नी। इस तरह के जो ट्वीट है, क्योंकि इसका इशारा कैप्टन ने इस्तीफे के बाद भी किया था कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जिस तरह से पाकिस्तान गए थे, वहां आईएसआई के जो चीफ है उनको गले लगाया था, पाकिस्तान से उनके रिश्ते, ये तमाम वो लाइन जो कांग्रेस को मुश्किल पैदा करेगी। और इन लाइन से बचने के लिए कांग्रेस क्या करेगी, क्या स्ट्रेटेजी कांग्रेस की रहेगी, ये एक बड़ा सवाल है और कांग्रेस को इस पर मेहनत भी काफी करनी है।
That's right, my colleague Ranjita there reporting from on ground over there from the swearing-in ceremony. I'm also joined by Mr. Javed Ansari, senior journalist on this show. Mr. Ansari, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Mirror Now. But sir, your analysis of the way that Congress has in fact dealt with this entire situation, and now they will have to make sure that the house is completely in order as the party heads into the polls early next year.
They have their task cut out, especially the central leadership of the party, because this change has primarily been affected at their behest. So it's now the onus is on them. The buck stops with them. They have to ensure that the divisions that have surfaced within Punjab Congress are bridged, that all the factions are brought together. They need to especially pay attention to Captain Amarinder Singh. Ignoring him or pushing him totally to the sideline will leave him but with no option but to either rebel or form a regional outfit of his own or join somebody else. And that would be a big body blow to the Congress party. That is something that the Congress can ill afford on the elections. Therefore, Rahul Gandhi flying down to Chandigarh to attend the swearing-in ceremony probably wanted to convey that the new chief minister has the total support of the central leadership. But that being done, it would have been in the fitness of things if he had also called on Captain Amarinder Singh and had a cup of tea with him, just to try and mollify him, try and assuage his hurt feelings at the moment.
Right, Mr. Ansari, also what we can see is that dissent within the Congress or these dissenting voices does not seem to be ending anytime soon, because yet another infighting has already emerged with Sunil Jakhar actually objecting to Harish Rawat's comments about Sidhu at the present moment being the one who could lead the party into the polls next year. So, Congress is still a divided house in more ways than one, with every day being a challenge for the party to actually calm down some of these dissenting voices.
And it's not just one. It's not just a Captain Amarinder Singh. There are many aggrieved voices within the Congress party. Sunil Jakhar being one of them. Those who've been left out feel aggrieved, and now it's a challenge for the leadership of the party, both in the centre and in Punjab, to try and bring everybody together. The fact that Mr. Harish Rawat has spoken of Navjot, of the party going to polls under the leadership of Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu, then what happens to the position of Mr. Charanjit Singh Channi? Because he's your chief minister, and if the chief minister, and you've already declared that it's not the chief minister, but somebody else, Navjot Singh Sidhu, under whose leadership the party will go to polls, then weakens the position of the current chief minister. It will just reinforce the impression that is doing the rounds, that he's only a stopgap arrangement. So therefore, these are things which need to be thought out. Before you take a decision, you need to think 2 steps ahead of its consequences. Perhaps whoever affected this change did not. First, they didn't have a replacement in mind. They keep moving from one name to the other, and now they need to have thought of what they will do with Mr. Jakhar and the other, and what are they going to do with Captain Amarinder Singh? Because if the leadership believes that he will just walk away or that he can just be whisked away, it's going to be difficult. That's not happening. He's a political person, as is Sunil Jakhar and the others, and all of them will have to be given the due respect. All of them will have to be made a part of the decision making, also made to feel a part of the Punjab Congress team. Because the moment you ignore people, that's the time that they, start acting up, and this is one of those moments. This is a big challenge for the central leadership and the leadership of the Punjab Congress to try and keep the house in order and bring everybody together.
Right. Mr. Ansari, despite the fact that Charanjit Singh Channi has, of course, been now, he's taken oath as the new Chief Minister of Punjab, but he's also seen as a Sidhu aide. On just a short while back at that ceremony also, we saw Sidhu being prominently there on the dais. Charanjit Singh was flanked, of course, by Rahul Gandhi, who was present himself at that event. But Sidhu's role is also very key in this. Harish Rawat's remark has, in fact, triggered a political storm. And the dynamics between Sidhu, Channi and even Captain Amarinder Singh is going to be another challenge for the Congress with just 5 months to go for the assembly elections.
And this is the most, this is a classic case of how not to prepare for elections. You can't be, on the eve of elections, the effort has always been to bring all the warring factions, to different factions together, to unite under one leader, to unite under one banner, and then go forward. At the moment, the Congress is a house divided, in addition to the fact that they will be facing 5 years of anti-incumbency, and they don't have the tallest leader of Punjab Congress, Mr. Amarinder Singh, in leading them. They have a new face, and to compound all the problems, Mr. Harish Rawat, the General Secretary in charge, has said that it will be under Mr. Sidhu's. Mr. Sidhu will lead them into the polls. So, if Mr. Sidhu is going to lead you into the polls, then what happens to the Chief Minister? That makes his position very untenable, isn't it? You're already undermining somebody who will be taking charge in the middle of such a firestorm, and then the effort ought to have been to strengthen and enhance, to try and project this image that he's the leader, rather than that you're undermining him. This problem of premature articulation that the Congress party suffers from will end up doing a lot of damage to them.
Right, Mr. Javed Ansari, senior journalist there, joining us on this discussion as the new Chief Minister of Punjab takes oath. He has, in fact, taken oath just a short while back. With that, it's a wrap on the bulletin. You can keep tracking more news and updates on mirrornow.com. Also follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Telegram. Thanks for watching.